This is an addendum to my video of 26th of October 2018, plus a personal diatribe. See if you can believe your own eyes. Well, that was a bit of luck. I remembered again. I hadn't switched the microphone on. I'm using the Ansteker camcorder that I've been trying out. Because it's not music, the sound recording should be okay with my voice. So this is, I'm doing two things. I'm doing an addendum of the video I did yesterday, which was the 26th of October 2018, and this is the 27th. Clocks go back tonight. Time travel, you see, time travel. And I'm going to talk about time travel in a minute. I've had a rough thing in my head, and I've even gone the whole hog, and I've got a couple of memorizers here. So, right, I'm going to start off serious before I go into the sublime and ridiculous. Carl phoned me about the video I did about the reconciliation of how each person in their own world is true and every truth is valid. And when we were talking, in my mind I thought, well, it's hard to get your head round, and even the mechanics of it. Been talking to Carl, and we've got these 7 billion computer programs running, one for each person on the planet, all seeded randomly. So everything can happen, almost everything can happen. And then I thought, yeah, and we've got the hologram, and you've got to get this 7 billion outputs onto one hologram, and then you need to use the knowledge that you have in order to extend it to the future. And on televisions, you have two ways in which the screen is used. One is called progressive, and the other is called interlaced. And in progressive, the whole picture is sent to the screen at once, and it scans it once, which is expensive in resources in the computer. But there's a thing called, a technique called interlacing, whereby it puts up half the picture, then it sends the other half of the picture and interlaces it together. So when you're looking at the television screen, when it's working in an interlaced situation, you're actually seeing two pictures flickering 40 times a second. So I've extended that, and this hologram of the universe, if you like, has got an interlace. And then I thought, it's got to be 7 billion interlace. No, because at any one time, in any one place, there's quite a small amount of interlacing. Here with me, you could say it's only one because it's just me. But if I'm talking to someone, then there's two interlaced. There's three, right? And if you're in a gig and there are a few thousand people, right? So that is the extension of what I said yesterday, in that the display on this hologram is interlaced, and they can work together see each other but not interfere with each other in their own, let's say, dimension, right? So that's the, and I've been thinking, about shocking, right? There's one thing that we say as ordinary common or garden people. If I can't believe my own eyes, what can I believe? Right? And you can't. Right? They tell it, right? The sun was shining. This window faces south. And the sun came up and went over the earth. I saw it with my own eyes. And yet they say that it's not the sun that goes round the earth. It's the earth goes round the sun. And the earth is spinning on its axis. And none of it makes sense. I can see with my own two bloody eyes. I see the sun come up and go over. And at night, I see the stars, all the celestial spheres going around this earth. The earth is standing still. They say it's rotating. If they're right, if these scientists are right that the earth is rotating, at the equator circumference is 24,000 miles, and it goes round every 24 hours. So at the equator, the earth is going round at 1,000 miles an hour. Can you believe the scientists? At 1,000 miles an hour, the water would be centrifuged off the face of the earth, wouldn't it? And that would mean that London is going round at 500 miles an hour, and on our end here, where I'm sitting now, we're going round about 300 miles an hour. I went out there this morning, you're a liar, Ted. I went out there this morning, I chalked on the ground across, and I jumped up to my full height that I could, about 3 inches. When I came down in the same place. If someone's standing on the equator and jumps up, the time they come down at 1,000 miles an hour, the earth's gone round. It's travelling faster than the speed of sound. Can you believe it? The scientists must be wrong. You can't believe your own eyes, right? I can't believe my own eyes. What can I believe? There's another fallacy about the sun. They say it's hot, but it's not. You have to believe your own eyes. If you believe your own eyes, you see that on the mountains that are nearest to the sun, the top of the mountain nearest to the sun, there's snow up there and ice. It's freezing cold, and yet it's nearer the sun. The sun can't be hot, can it? Believe your own eyes. Right? That's madness. We can't believe things, right? What I've told you are quite good old-fashioned comedic stories used for various purposes. But let's come to the truth. Right? Let's come to the truth. No bull about, well, the earth is rotating 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. We know it's true. The sun is hot. We know it's true by other ways of proving it. And also it's true that if I raise my right hand up and bring it down again, my right hand is now younger than my left hand, because my left hand did move up. It's moved up and down, but now it's caught up with it. If you move, you're younger. As you move, if you sit still for all your life, you'll be your chronological age. And it's worked out somewhere. If you did 5 marathons for 40 years, at the end of that 40 years, you would be, I think it was 3 or 5 milliseconds younger than if you'd sat in a chair for 40 years. There's a difference, but not big. And the practical exercise was they took 2 atomic clocks, 2 cesium atomic clocks, put one on an aircraft, left one on the ground, and it went round and did all this. And I think about a year later they checked it, and the one that had been on the move showed that less time had passed. Can you believe your own eyes? When you move, you go backwards in time, no matter what direction you go in. When you move, you travel in time, real time. And also, you gather weight. When you move, you put on weight. When I do that, my arm not only goes back in time, but it gets heavier. Because when you move, it gathers mass. And that, the formula says, we can't go faster than the speed of light. 2 programs were on this week, and there is someone up there who's digging me in the ribs. It could be Leslie, it could be the big boy up there, I don't know, right? But we had 2 programs in the week, and both of them were relevant to what I did yesterday, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I should be like Carl and say that the television's talking to me. And what it was, there's the woman Hannah Fry, who's a mathematician, and her theme was, do numbers exist, or does man invent numbers? And I thought that was useless. But at the end, right at the end, the last few minutes, she showed Einstein's space-time formula, and then she showed the quantum formula, and we have 2 worlds that are locked in, but one doesn't affect the other. We have what we call the material world, this, cause and effect. I put my hands together, and that's the cause, the effect is the clap. But in the quantum world, they tell us that there is no cause and effect. Things happen randomly. Now, for all you whiz kids who are watching in, there's 12 of you now, if you Google Kevin space Aylward space quantum, Kevin space Aylward space quantum, you'll get to my son's website where he goes into the depths of quantum physics. By the way, I've got no... Oh, hang on. Oh, this is water, because I've put the clocks back. It says 20 to 1, so it's 20 to 2. And see, I missed that one, didn't I? You see. So, oh yeah, my note. I have the only qualification in maths that I've got is an O-level, GCO level, 1958. I've got no qualifications in physics at all. I've got it from TV, radio, the odd book many years ago, talking to people. I have what I call peanut knowledge. I've never heard it said before. I think I've invented the phrase. I've got peanut knowledge. I've got a kernel of knowledge surrounded by a shell of ignorance. A kernel of knowledge surrounded by a shell of ignorance. So Hannah Fry was talking about numbers, and at the end she showed, and she says scientists are completely baffled. We have two completely disparate worlds, separate worlds, and yet they're interlocked. My fingers are interlocked, and the quantum particles within my fingers are interlocked with the atoms and the molecules of my fingers, and yet in the quantum world everything's happening at random, and in the material world, cause and effect. If you can't believe your eyes, what can you believe? My idea, extending the legacy theory of Stephen Hawking, you go into the realms of fantasy. Hang on, I'm going to look here. I don't know, Hannah Fry. Oh yeah, Brian Cox, and the other one, there's two programs, Brian Cox. And up until he spoke on his program, I watched it last night, I think it was on the night before, and at the end of the program, he straightforwardly says, it is most unlikely that in the Milky Way, he's saying, in the Milky Way, that there is any other intelligent being. And he put it down to one thing that I'd never heard of, in that the probability of two different organisms coming together and forming RNA and DNA and upwards to us, which was a new one for me. So I'm not fixed in my ideas. I change my ideas. I'm malleable. I look at what's feasible. So, right, I'll do a summary at the end. So that was Brian Cox. I've done the interlace. Yeah, another thing is, with my idea that we've got this hologram, the universe, and we think of the universe as being a vast thing, an almost infinite thing. And then when we think that universe is encapsulated in an exoverse or a multiverse, it's massive, and our mind, we can't get it. But really, if you were to be able to walk outside this universe and walk outside the exoverse, and then walk outside this verse and go out, you would look back on our universe that has the Milky Way in it, and it'd be big as a grain of sand. Relative to our physical size as we see it, the universe is a massive place. But relative to someone outside the universe, so our thinking, right, the way you listen to me and the way you interpret what I say and what you believe is conditioned by what you believe to be the truth. Alice in Wonderland, going down the rabbit hole, right? Lewis Carroll, he hooked onto Einstein's ideas. So when I think, what I try to do is to keep my feet on the ground, but put my noddle a little bit down the rabbit hole and have a look around and see what is there. I let my imagination run a little bit, and that's how that theory came into my mind. So I've done this to, right, believe your own eyes. So I've done all that. So to summarize, 2 programs. One with Hannah Fry, we can't reconcile the material physics, normal physics, and quantum physics. you've got, who is it, the pretty boy, Brian Cox, right? Turned everything over that I've been thinking, that I would have said there's a good probability that there's intelligent life in the Milky Way. But he's made me think again. And then we've got the bit, my extension, my addendum to what I said yesterday, of the interlacing of these identities, computer programs, randomly seeded, one for every person, interlocked and able to talk to each other, right? And finally, I haven't got a remote control. So, I mean, I've got a remote control, but I haven't got it here. And I'm wondering what the sound is like on here. It's all plugged in. Please God that it's, I can't go through this again. So, when you're assessing what I've said about this hologram and computers and all interlacing and all that, and it's so mad, Ted, you crackers, think of the Earth going around at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Think of it being cold on the top of mountains. And I expect you'll think of something else, right? Can you believe your own eyes? Can you believe your own mind? Can you believe your own ideas? I'll leave you to think about it. Bugger off, Ted. You can now take the wet towel off your head. Right. Thanks for watching. Bye.